The following is a list of Moors who have been kidnapped and are being held for a demand of income. The demand of income is being made against the family as well as through fraudulent submissions of documents alleging that they are caring for the people in some sort of long-term care fashion. These Moors have been kidnapped literally off the street by employees of various corporations that are guised as counties, cities, towns, township, boroughs. These names that we have all been mentally conditioned to believe are government are not. They are exactly what they say they are. They are municipal corporations, and as such, they, if you do the research, you will find that they are foreign corporations on American soil. Therefore, they do not have standing nor jurisdiction to make a demand of income or even bring a claim the aboriginal, indigenous people, or any people on American soil, this making their actions criminal. However, as Moors, we must bring these crimes to the forefront via civil complaints against these unalienable constitutional treaty-secured rights of the people, aboriginal, indigenous Moors of this land. If the municipal corporation has been provided, then we reference that along with the union state. If we don't have the municipal corporation where the employee works that actually did the kidnapping, then we just reference the union state that is bound and obligated to protect the people from foreign and domestic invasion. This list comprises Moors who have been kidnapped and are being held hostage by employees of various corporations on American soil, which is a violation of the American Constitution 1791, and it is a treaty violation, being that we are talking about Moorish Americans, aboriginal, indigenous to this land, who have been kidnapped by employees of foreign corporation on American soil. This making this an international issue because you have two nations with one nation warring against another. Therefore, this is an international issue. If you have a family member near or far within your immediate family or one of the family that you know and you would like them added to this list, please send an email to mhhseyeswideopen@gmail.com. In the subject line, put Kidnap Moor, and please provide us with their free national appellation, the municipal corporation that the employee is operating through that kidnapped them, along with the union state that this corporation is in purview to. So with that, we start out with our sister Abkare Bay, kidnapped through a joint venture between Memphis Corporation and Shelby Corporation under the purview of Tennessee, Daoud Il under the purview of Arkansas, Amir Moslemin Il Kusu Ra Kush Bay under the purview of Missouri, Asar Patah Amin Ra Bay under the purview of Ohio, Jeremy Paler Il, Terry Thorne Bay, J. McCall Brooks Bay, Joseph Kanaday Il, Kush Amir Bunch Il, Emmanuel Billings Bay, Yassin Khalik Alamin Il, Michael Curry Bay, all under the purview of North Carolina, Noble Crisco Il under the purview of New Jersey, Messiah Aziz Il and Crystal Il, both kidnapped through a joint venture between Mercer Corporation, Freehold Corporation, and Trenton Corporation under the purview of New Jersey. We're still waiting on an update regarding baby Patricia Bay, kidnapped by Atlantic Corporation under the purview of New Jersey, Eldridge Terran Fisher Il, Marquis Sevion Il under the purview of Indiana, Solomon Il Bay, and Mumi Abu Bay under the purview of Texas, William Barrett Ill under the purview of Virginia, Bomani Abidwil Ill, kidnapped by Chesapeake Corporation under the purview of Virginia, Che Ray Bay under the purview of West Virginia, Thomas Lee Bay under the purview of California, Victor Eduardo Avalle Juarez Ill, kidnapped by Harlem Corporation under the purview of Georgia, Natro Tahuti Ill, kidnapped by Benner Corporation under the purview of Pennsylvania, Rennie Bay, kidnapped by Hamilton Corporation under the purview of, Hamilton, Ontario Corporation under the purview, well, actually, it's Hamilton Corporation. The state would be Ontario, and that's that would be a union state, and it's on American soil that is referenced as Canada. And last but not least, Brian George Mills Bay, kidnapped by the employees working through Glades Corporation under the purview of Florida. Thank you very much.
All right. Wow, that went by so fast. All righty, Islam, and welcome to MHHS, Eyes Wide Open. This is your host, Anita L., along with my co-host, Ibrahim Alice L.
Peace and love, Anna E., Cool Joe, Ma, everybody. Glad to be back.
Raz Mariah Bay.
Islam, peace and love to all.
And Cool Joe, IYL.
Islam Moors, peace to all the hosts.
Islam.
Islam Moors worldwide.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Before we get into our announcements, I just want to start off by letting everybody know that this Thursday is Sons of Allah. So make sure and join us back here Thursday, 9 o'clock for Sons of Allah with Ms. Raheem Alice L. and Cujo Aswa as your host. All right. So, let's see. Big shout out to our family listening via the internet. The chat room is open. Shout out to our family listening over near the Great Britain Corporation, Islam. Shout out to family listening near the corporate construct known as South Africa, Islam, Japan, Islam, the Netherlands, Islam Brother Albert Sat, family listening over near the Philippines. Let's see. We have family down in the Atlantic Islands, known as the corporate construct known as Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Puerto Rico. Of course, the family down there near the corporate construct known as Panama, Islam, Cuba, Brazil, Venezuela, Mexico, all corporate constructs. We're just giving a shout out to the families that are near those corporate constructs, because nobody's in those corporate constructs. Islam to everyone listening. Big shout out to our callers. Thank you so much for calling in, filling up the phone lines before the broadcast even begins. Islam, and thank you. All right. So, let's jump right in.
One quick announcement.
Go ahead.
If anybody has been familiar with Brother Albacet L., just to put it on the record, I got a message from him today, and he has been transitioned from the Crazy House. He's been released from the Crazy House. They don't want nothing to do with him anymore. He's officially competent. He's officially out the Crazy House. So I just wanted to put it out there. This is an individual who everybody pretty much wiped their hands of him, said he was crazy and all that stuff because he's talking about he's a Moor and all that. And through all that adversity, going through all that stuff, being in that institution and all that, stood on the fact that he knew who he was, regardless what they did. And now they don't want to do with him. Because clearly he's competent. He's competent. There's no need for him to be in there, really. I mean, they say that he has some issues or whatever, but, if the madhouse is going to say, well, we don't want anything to do with him, clearly he's competent.
Right.
Right. And also, that's also for the people who think that this doesn't work and being a Moor, what's that going to do for me and all that stuff. That got this brother out the madhouse. That his own family put him in there.
Oh my God.
He wasn't on some kidnapper or anything like that. His family said he's crazy, and they put him in there.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Right?
Talk that talk, Cool Joe.
So
this is why it's nothing like
just because it's over. Yeah, just because it's over now, we could talk about it. Right? Just because it's over now, we could talk about it. So it's over now. The transition was into a shelter, but he's not in that place anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, he's always been studying.
Yes,
right?
he
For
has.
himself. For himself, not because somebody said. You know what I mean? But, he had time in the crazy house. So he made use of his time. And it's over now. Because he stood on birthright. Just him. For all those people who are, who have the I'm alone and I don't know what to do and all that stuff like that. How about just study? You could just study. You know what I mean? Just know who you are. You know what I mean? So we want to send supreme honors to the good brother Albacet L, who, you know what I mean, is definitely sending the love back, because I already know how he gets down. And we just wanted to put that testimonial out there so that people are clear about the truth about nationality and birthrights and how real it is. Islam.
Well, good for him. Hats off. Yes.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great demonstration. Absolutely great demonstration. Wow. That's an excellent demonstration. All right. So, this is a special special shout out to Brother Albacet. Special shout out. Let's see. Where was I? I remember. Okay, tomorrow we will be at the National Theater, live at the National Theater. We'll be having an interesting presentation. We're going to be talking about, some interesting things. It's going to be a lot of information, so make sure that you come ready to participate, because it's going to be a lot of information that's shared on tonight. It's always a lot of information. I mean, when we bombard everybody with information, it's like, look, people be like, where should I start? Well, we just dropped a whole bunch of information on you. Pick any one of them and just move forward and don't stop. That's it. But anyways, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's class. So with that, let's get started on tonight's broadcast. Tonight's broadcast is as a result of some information I ran across and on Facebook, and I said I would not be commenting on Facebook ever again because it will suck you in and whip you up into a lather. And I don't want to be expending my energy like that, but I just know how I found this. I never do. But anyway, it brought to my mind that there's probably people out there, if you can fall for this mess that's out there, you need some information. You need some information. All right? Now, the title of this tonight's broadcast is the United States of America, who was it established for? United States of America, Republic of America, is a republic. It was established in 1774 by the colonists, for the colonists, modern Europeans, as a construct, this being the first established and recognized nation for modern Europeans. Prior to 1774, modern Europeans did not have a nation. You know, they didn't have anything. They were not considered human beings. They were not considered, all of this whitewashed, reconstructed history. You see where it appears as though modern Europeans were all over the globe doing stuff. That's all fictitious. All right, that's all you got to do is scratch it a little bit, and you will probably say, scratch a lie, find a thief. That's what Ray Charles' mother used to always say to him, scratch a lie, find a thief, something like that. And so if you scratch it just a little bit, you'll find a thief. All right? So let's see. As Moors, being the aboriginal indigenous people of the land, the Americans found here by the Europeans, those Europeans being the ancient Europeans, Brutish Moors, not to be confused with the modern Europeans, we must know our relationship to these new arrivals, immigrating, that's emigrating, from Great Britain, to the immigrants, that's immigrants, here on Moroccan soil, referred to as America. Now that word immigrant and EMIGRATING and immigrant, IMMIGRANTS, or immigrants, would have never known those words if we had not made that trip to the Statue of Liberty. Because they use these words that we've never seen, at least I personally have never seen these two words. I wondered what they meant. Immigrants, EMIGRATE, those are people who are leaving someplace. And immigrants, IMMIGRANT, as those are people who are coming into someplace. All right? But now you have to look at the history of the modern Europeans. It's a very interesting history. And people have to know the history, because if you do not, you will count yourself as some sort of member of the United States of America Republic, which was established in 1774 for the modern Europeans. Go to the American Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. What you're going to find is that in that document, it identifies two parties. It identifies the United States being the authorizing power, and then it identifies the United States of America. The United States of America, it lets you know in Article 4, Section 4, is a republic. It is identified as the United States of America Republic. This construct, it must be known, is a Johnny-come-lately new arrival. Prior to 1774, the United States of America Republic did not exist. Now, yes, it is a corporate construct. It was designed so that these people who had no construct to navigate on behalf of their people around the world could engage in interchange with other nations. Other than that, you didn't have a place to fit in. If without being recognized as a nation, you wouldn't have had a place to fit in so that you could engage in any type of interchange, which is why it was very necessary for some sovereign power to recognize the United States of America. If they were never recognized by a sovereign power, they would never have been able to get in and engage in any type of interchange with nations, because you've got to be acknowledged by a nation in order to fit in somewhere within nations. So let's be clear. All right? You have to know the history, because without the history, you can make a huge mistake. As a Moor, you would make a huge mistake and consider or count yourself as a modern European, because the only people that can be members of the United States of America Republic as it was established, the only people who could be members of that construct is modern Europeans. That is affirmed in the original 13th Amendment, Section 12. Those of African descent cannot be members. All right? But if you don't know this history, if you don't know the dynamics of it all, you will mess around and count yourself as a Negro, colored, black, modern European, citizen of the United States of America. The only people who could be citizens of the United States of America is the Negro, colored, black people. Negro, colored, black does not represent skin complexion. It represents your national standing. Now, as a Moorish American national, your national standing is so much higher than a citizen of the United States of America. You do yourself a huge disservice even referring to yourself, even in error, as a citizen of the United States of America Republic, because that construct is for modern Europeans. You can't ever be a member of it, because we are supposed to be functioning under the Moorish Great Seal government. That's our government. And that government is the government that is alive and well on this land. It's just not active. It's right in the Constitution. Trump, Obama, the Bush boys, Clinton, what do you call them? The Kennedy boys, all of them spoke under the United States of America Republic. In the Constitution, they only have executive power. That is it. Now, what's crazy about our people, I love my people. I don't care how crazy or out of your mind you may be. I love my people because I know we've been mentally conditioned. So it ain't your fault, but it is your responsibility to turn it around. You got all this information all over the place. There's no excuse for you not to catch up. It's time to catch up. We got to recognize that it don't matter what the United States of America Republic is doing or not doing. What we need to look to is, what are we doing? Where is our seat? Our government is there. It ain't never met. It was hidden long before modern Europeans or even our ancient brethren came over from Great Britain. It was here then, it's here now. Now, if we look in that American Constitution, it says that the United States is supposed to have a president and a vice president. Where is it? The Asiatic people wanted to have a presidential election? Well, all right. Who are the candidates for the United States? Not the United States of America. Who are the candidates for the United States? Are you competent? Are you able? Can you go out and present interest on behalf of the entire Moorish family? And do you have the ability to keep the visitors, the people that fall under the banner of the United States of America, do you have the ability to keep them in check? Because that body is the body that's supposed to keep everybody in check. But that seat's been empty. It's been empty for a long time. Even and this is some historical research we all need to do. Because in 1786, the Constitution was, in order for them to even go through this exercise of adopting the Constitution, they had to get permission from the authorizing party. Who were those people? And where are they? And why are they not visible today? And do we have anyone, like as Moors, like I said, we're supposed to have somebody sitting in as a president or a vice president. Now we can utilize the Moorish titles, Grand Wazir. We can utilize the Moorish titles, but the bottom line is this. Who is it that do we have a candidates that are capable, that can go across the nation promoting, an election amongst the Moors, and those people are ready and capable to step into those seats and function cohesively to keep everybody in check and represent or present the interests of the Moors. Do we have that? Because that's what's going to have government that's in operation right now is the Moorish government. But it's one-sided. And people don't know who is who because we don't study. We allow people to indoctrinate us with misinformation that don't serve our good as a individual, as a people, as a family. And we never question it. We have to change all of that. We can no longer just accept people for what they say. They got to back it up with documentation. It's got to be plausible. It's got to be reasonable. It's got to make sense. And it's got to be in the interest of everybody, not just the Moors, because that's not how we roll. It's got to be in the best interest of everybody. And if it's not, then it ain't right, because that's universal law. And if there's one thing that we ought to know about our ancestors is that magnificent document that is called the American Constitution. It was based on universal principles, which means it's always got to be right and exact. So the question that we need to ask ourselves, are we ready? Are we able? And are we capable of filling those seats that have been empty for a very long time? And if we are, then why are we always doing all this talk about what's going on underneath the United States of America, republic, camp? Why are we trying to put ourselves under that as though we are the Johnny-come-lately to the table when we built the damn table? We got a lot of studying to do because clearly we're lacking information, and we cannot correct what's going on today for the good of tomorrow until we have a clear comprehension. Islam? Oh, all right.
Islam. Just really thinking about that. A lot. whether we took seats or didn't take seats, we are the people. We are the establishment of the Constitution was really just for what the law is of the land, regardless. And our duty is to, at minimum, enforce that regardless to whatever else is going on. Because we had a really nice, good conversation, Anna, as you recall, just the other night or last night or whatever, that, we already understand that the Constitution wasn't written for Moors. That our true Constitution is, of course, the Universal Zodiac Constitution. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't get with that, but it is precise. So our duty and obligation, so that what the prophet said, he said, you need to enforce the Constitution for the United States of America so that you are not molested by other citizens. All right? Even if nobody was in those other seats, which is the interface of, Congress and Senate and all that, there's still the law of the land that goes down. That means no other law can be made. That's why, we say that if when you read the Constitution, it tells you exactly how new law can be implemented. None of that can go down now if the Congress is not properly seated. You understand? Because remember, we talked about Congress means, con means with, rest, and means to walk together. You know what I'm saying? So even at minimum, I think that if we can't get to the fact of enforcing that, by the people doing that, you know what I'm saying? By I can't believe I keep saying that, you know what I'm saying? By having knowledge of what the law is, enforcing it, because it protects all of our liberties, everyone's. And if we can't bypass that, like you said, bypass that and to be doing something else or starting some new government. We talked about this before, starting a new this or a new that. Well, we can't even preserve or effectuate that which already is, which preserves things for everyone. You know what I mean? That it's universal in that respect. Now, here's the thing. You had kind of spoke on somebody. I don't know who it is. Who cares? But for the people who are trying to come into this knowledge, you spoke earlier on that the USA, United States of America, was for foreign, basically foreigners, modern Europeans. They're the foreigners, right? Who in their right mind would say a newly establishing the USA and then putting out amendments, I understand, on supposedly, like, what are they doing? Like, are they just, like, sitting back and thinking of stuff to do? I mean, it just, and then say, join this. Like, I don't understand where that comes from. Why is it that we think we have to start something new and different without enforcing the fundamental foundational stuff? What is that about? I know it's a lack of, having information and whatever like that, and it's not really, like you said, our fault or whatever, but how do we get to thinking that that's what we need to do to start something new? I don't know. I don't get it. When the law of the land is already laid down for us, what is that all about? And people follow that, and they think they're doing something important in that respect, or that it's really happening. Now, I understand there's somebody that is in fact saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the newly established president of the USA." Did you mention that they may be taking somebody else's job, somebody else's position, and might come and get them for impersonating the president of the USA? Oh my gosh, like, that could happen. You know that, right? Know that they do that.
It also demonstrates that this person has done no research historically, because you can go right into the congressional record. It's right there. It says that this nation, you know what, but I'm going to give you the exact wording, but the United States of America is a newly created nation,
And they started, and they coined this name in 1774. And then on top of that, Hillary Clinton in the Benjamin Franklin room of the White House in 2012, she acknowledged that Morocco is the first nation and only nation, to be told, that acknowledged them as a new nation by the name of the United States of America, which, even though they call it a democracy today, the Constitution guarantees a republic. So that's you can't. How you gonna come in the 2014, 15, whatever you want to, and so like you're reestablishing a government, and you saying that you're reestablishing it for Moors, when historically it was established as a nation for a group of people who was not a nation and had no nation. We had a nation and still have a nation today. It's called Moors. The Moroccan nation, it's the Moroccan government, it's the Moorish Empire. That's our nation. That's our government. That's our family.
Exactly. So that's going to be. These are the wrong times to be in the wrong jurisdiction. That much we do know.
Mhm.
Very.
And as well,
go ahead.
Just an interjection for if there's new people that's also listening, that when you speak about the 1700s and the relationship between quote unquote United States of America and Morocco, remember that we're not talking about North Africa, Morocco,
right,
that you talk about today as Morocco, right? We're speaking about a vast jurisdiction, not a country on a continent, right? Because we get a lot of that too still, just with people coming in that, I called the Moroccan embassy and they didn't know about Moors. So, how is this real if the Moroccan embassy and all that? So there's a bigger jurisdiction of Morocco than just the Kingdom of Morocco in North Africa. Right? So in doing the research and seeing Morocco with all these treaties and Sultan and all that, don't get caught up in what you see today as what that is.
Right, because that was established in late 50s or so, 56, 57. And Hillary Clinton, as we just said, who was the Secretary of Department of State, already said in 2012 the first nation to recognize us was Morocco in 1787. So by doing studying and thinking, you know what I mean, you would really clearly see that. But thanks for making that point, because that is one of the first things. I remember years ago, a lot of people started by the droves becoming, I don't know what kind of citizenship they would be becoming in the Moroccan kingdom, but they was doing that. I mean, there's a whole list of these people that were doing it, and all of them, they didn't realize that that's not where their citizenship is or their national tie to the ancestral state. So they did that by the droves, and it was just out of order, lack of knowledge, But it is what it is. What are you going to do? Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, we're here.
All right. So, moving along with making those clear understanding.
Yeah, so the importance of
just comprehending that is, I mean, come on. This is about your nationality. And you can't, like I said, it's interesting because, like, I was able to look at somebody's passport just recently. And what's interesting on this passport is there's a place where it says nationality. Now, what a lot of people may not recognize, because this is serious business here. Your nationality is based on the bloodline. All right, so your nationality can never be some type of a corporate construct. All right, even if you was born in what they call United States or America or Germany or Great Britain, your nationality can never be what is today considered a fictitious geographical location. All right, your nationality is based on your bloodline. So, you know, going into this 2017, even 2018, you know, they got the whole Real ID Act on the front burner. There's a whole bunch of stuff about to get kicked off. A whole bunch of stuff. And it is imperative for the Moors to get it straight. All right? Because they have Moors thinking that if you don't get your DNA cataloged by modern Europeans so they can tell you what you're made up of in parts, all right? They're telling you that your blood is made up of these fictitious geographical locations. That's a travesty again. Now, why would they go that far? Because it's another way to tie you to a corporation. Oh, you're 30% Great Britain. You're 10%, you know, Japan. You're 2% America. These are all corporations. Your blood can never be based on corporate constructs or geographical locations. Your blood is based on, you know, bloodline, like family. Like, what family are you a member of? All right? That's all it's based on. And, you know, I was watching this movie. I gotta remember the name of it, because I swear it's like movies today just speaking all the time. But I was watching this movie, and there was these two couples. One was they were like modern European and Asiatic, and the mother, it was called Barry. I didn't know that this movie called Barry was a movie about Barack until the end, when he gave up the name Barry and took on Barack. I read a modern European woman, he's a thief that he was dating. I did not know. So I was watching this movie, and he goes to the wedding of with the girl he's dating, who's modern European, and her mother introduces him to Asiatic, unconscious son, and a Mongolian, they call him Oriental, all right? And he's like, I don't understand why your mother introduced me to them except that they're mixed race. And I was like, what the fuck is a mixed? What is a race? What is that? What is a race? What is that? What is race?
So basically, no, I was saying, so basically Barack Obama did the name correction. He tried to get in this proper person. Is that what happened? From Barry to Barack Hussein Obama, which is a Muslim appellation.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I said Barack Hussein Obama. That's definitely a Muslim appellation, for sure.
Yeah. Yep, it is. And you know what? And in the movie, he says, like, he's hanging around with what appears to be this Hindustani guy. And what's interesting is when he goes to this wedding, now all of he's buried, you know, in the movie, all throughout the movie, he's buried. And there he said, my father comes from Kenya, all right? And I didn't put it together. And towards the end of the movie, he goes to the bar. Towards the end of the movie, this brother, clearly not dark melanated or carbon-based brother, invites him to a party. And he goes to this party and, you know, he's talking with this sister and, you know, it's too noisy to go out in the hall and, you know, they're having a conversation and the girl's boyfriend just walks up and just knocks him out. Because he thinks he's trying to push up on his girl. So he knocks him out cold. So he ends up leaving that because he's like, man, this ain't my scene. This ain't your thing because this is how Asiatic people get down. You've been rolling with the modern Europeans, so not his scene. So he's leaving, and even though he's Asiatic, he's hanging out with the modern Europeans every single night when he goes back to the dorm room. The modern European patrolmen always accost him. So now he's having these reflections. He's starting to be like, okay, well, you know, I must be in the wrong place. He's starting to reflect. And by the end of the movie, he drops the European girlfriend. He's no longer Barry. He's Barack, and he's hanging around with the people in, you know, what they call the New York Harlem area. I don't know if he was really hanging out and growing up in the Harlem area, but in the movie that's what it says. So now he's just hanging out with other Asiatic people. He's been it real. I didn't get it until the end of the movie, but when I'm watching this movie, they talk about race, mixed race. And I'm like, what the hell is race? What is that? That's not a nationality. What is race and why are people falling for it? All right? You might be of the human race, but they got people, it's like they have people so jacked up when it comes to nationality that you have to ask yourself, I know I do you have to make nationality so convoluted? Why? It's because when people don't have a nationality that they can, you know, bank on. Not the bank, when I say bank, I don't mean financially. I mean, you know, this is it. This is my blood. You know, when they don't have that surety of nationality, they have to convolute everyone else who has a nationality. They have to convolute everyone else who has a nationality because they're not sure of their own. Doesn't make it right, but you have to understand the seriousness of this thing called nationality. And let me tell you, it's about to be on and popping, I feel, in 2007 going forward, because everything is based on nationality. It's about to be unveiled like never before. That nationality is the order of the day. And if people ain't getting it together now, you're going to get it together in a minute. All of this bull crap going on, it's going to get dropped quick, real. And that whole Real ID Act, that is just tip of the iceberg. So, you know, they have to instill some kind of fear and hesitation in the people so that they don't claim their nationality, because the nationality is the key that unlocks the door and busts it wide open. And once it's open, ain't no going back. So they got to put some sort of fear and intimidation in the people so that you don't go forward. But I'm trying to tell you, you need to go forward. Don't let nobody intimidate you. Don't let nobody put no fear in you. Just keep on moving forward, and don't fall for no okey-doke bull crap. Don't say, oh, I'm a member of the United States of America Republic, because that puts you right back in being Negro, colored, black, because that construct was established for the true Negro, colored, black people. So you will have come full circle right back to what you was trying to get out of, what you was trying to clear up. Which is why the prophet said, if you don't do nothing, what did he say? Declare. Look up the word D-C-L-A-R, declare, but it's about declaring your nationality. You're supposed to be clear. You're supposed to be real clear, because it's about your blood. How can you not be clear about your blood? I'm done. I ain't going to interrupt no more. I yield the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it goes back to the difference between us and them, Moors and Europeans. Got to be very clear on that. And just, the politics of what's really good today, there's a lot going on, I don't know. I'll just give my brief recap on what's happening right now. Is you have Moors who are in fear of the Europeans, and what they're doing and about to do. They don't want to be next. And I can dig it. But that sometimes leads them to want to be a part of what the Europeans are doing, which is totally insane. So that's why you have people now talking about, they're the president of the United States, they're Moor, or United States of America and things like that, or whatever. But I just find it interesting that things are moving faster all over the world, Just a little update. Russia had deployed some missiles, and they're saying that violated a so-called treaty. I don't know what treaty, but they say that they're challenging Trump at this particular point, who is the so-called president of the USA, the corporation, which, as you were stating earlier, you have some people some Moors who are claiming to be, in that position, which would be a duplicate or a false claim, because Moors can't be a part of the USA. That's a well-known fact. I mean, the corporate aspect of the United States of America, etc. It's a fiction, and they already established that. But I just find it interesting that that's the case right now, and also with all that's going on, we know that we could trace a lot of the people in those positions of the USA or the corporate United States of America back to European bloodlines and different European orders, like, the Franciscan Brotherhood, the Cistercians and things like that. Whereas, these are different European groups who had a big hand in even trying to overthrow the estate or Moor's estate or status, and who are still in position right now. And briefly spoke about this earlier, but, I don't know. I find it to be breaking news that the quote-unquote head of the Ku Klux Klan was found shot dead in the head, literally, all right, and came up on the river banks of Missouri. That's real talk. That's news as of today, right? That the head of the Ku Klux Klan, and he was claimed to be a part of the chapter called American Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, Frank Ancona, the professed leader of the traditionalist, what they call the traditionalist American Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, was shot and killed in Missouri in what officials called a tragic and senseless act of violence. But it was motives behind it. And like I said, like it is what it is. They're saying his wife and stepson are the suspects in that matter. So I say that, and I wanted to emphasize that, to emphasize the fact that their whole system is imploding on itself.
Yes.
That's what we're seeing. That's just the bottom line. And we're seeing it happen even in what they call the invisible empire, which is the Ku Klux Klan, which are acting like is not in these positions of power. The head of that chapter got murdered. That would be equivalent to a modern political analyst saying, a governor got shot. Basically, that's what it is, but this is like the invisible empire that's in the background. So you got to understand that there's levels to it. And that shadow government, they talk about color of law, color of authority, right? In one of those definitions, it speaks of the shadow government, or maybe in de facto, all right? And within that, you can see that these are these groups and organizations which you think you don't see in these positions, all right? So, just because they're not saying, hey, a governor got shot, basically that's what just happened with a group of people who have an invisible hand in what you call government, or what the commoners assume to be government, or European government. And I suggest that anybody get that book or reanalyze if you have lesson book number 1, because it goes into all of that about the Kyclos, the Ku Klux Klan, how they have a chloron, all of these things. While they're trying to imitate Moors, Moors are trying to imitate them, and it's just a total sickness. You know what I mean? And again, salute to the brethren Cujo was saying, got out the mental institution. But it really is a lot of people outside the mental institution who never been in there that, like, yo, it needs some mental rehabilitation. So when you talk about that fine line of insanity or the balance, the equilibrium of man or mind, it goes to multiple different levels. So, but we could see it in the more common aspect, but it's not recognized, meaning that, we touched on this earlier. Certain people had different motives for the civil rights and things like that, but there was a time period where the whole essence of some of those movements was for Moors to be accepted by Europeans as black people. That's what it was. So it was about amalgamation, which is why they seemed to make some progress in a certain aspect, because the Europeans was like, we'll put y'all up under the wing. So now you have Moors who still feel like they're entitled, or they have to be a part of the European design, a part of the pilgrim design in society and in government and things like that, because they don't know self, they don't know history, they don't know law, government, that is family. So they think like Europeans, act like Europeans, and endeavor so hard to be a part of European activities. And that's no hate to the European. That's not saying, F the quote cracker and don't do nothing and, there's no purpose for them or anything like that. I'm just saying that there's been a lack, there's been a loss of self-sufficiency and a desire that has been filtered to our people to want to be a part of something that wasn't designed for them to be a part of, but it's beneficial more so for the other people. So now you got Moors, and they like, well, shit, if Barack was in position, I want to be Barack. So I'm the president of the USA now, you know, without any true understanding of the origin of the creation of these institutions. So, you know, the I want to be down mentality has to be, you know, put in perspective, specifically when it comes to the European or pilgrim or these cavaliers in blue suits that, you know, more so like that's the only salvation is to integrate or amalgamate into their society. And, you know, it's a sign of acquiescence and defeat in the aspect. So I just wanted to add that on. Islam.
It's wrong to that. And that goes to what the prophet said when he said, I'm here to teach you to be yourself. Yep.
Yes, Islam. Yes, Islam to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So and then when you get into that, like if we talking about being ourselves, right? I mean, is it not true? I mean, truth is truth. But do you think, and I'm asking everybody on this panel right now, callers, everything, do you think the mentality of Moors and Europeans is naturally different?
Yeah. To some great degree, yeah. Kind of, sort of. I mean, it depends on what it is you're speaking about. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I think it is different. But I think it's different only because of the conditioning.
Yeah.
I think if we didn't have this conflict imposed on us, that we would live harmonious just like any other species.
Exactly. And the reason I ask that is because, like this, I know, and pardon me, you know, not to promote anybody's diet, but I'll take, for example, because you said it depends on what you're saying. Like, I came to the conclusion that we just are wired to think different. And I think also at the same time that thinking is strategic and designed to oppress the way we think. And when I say we, I mean Moors. I'll explain. Like, our ancestors, picture this. It's a summer day. They're hungry. Now, there might be food growing, but they're by the water. So they got sticks, line, fishing hook, right? They got the line and hook, line and sinker, fishing pole. They're hungry. They don't see any pilgrims in sight, talking about going back to that mind state of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. They don't see any pilgrims in sight. The last thing on their mind is a pilgrim, but they're hungry. So they go fishing. They get the fish. They bring it back to the village or whatever. And, you know, the chefs in the village, more than likely, if there was any that was doing that, it would probably be the sisters or, you know, brothers might start a fire and cook the fish. End of story. Bottom line, nothing to feel guilty about, nothing to discuss. Now, today, the lineal descendants of the same people who would just do that freely feel like they can't do that without a license from the Division of Fish and Wildlife or Wildlife and Game, which they set up in different quote-unquote states. So what I'm saying is the thinking is different, but there was an opposing force put in play to change the pattern of thinking. So now some people who don't even know they have that birthright, if they wanted to exercise it, they've adopted the mentality of pilgrims, whereas you have to have a license from us. Mind you, these are people who are not even in their own homeland. So to me, all of this is clear signs that we think different, and why it's even oppression. So talking about man is mind, the mentality of some pilgrims or those who have a certain design, which we are talking about, is actually imploding on itself as we speak in slow motion. You know what I mean? But that's what's happening. We just I don't think it's nothing they could say that actually applies to us in a certain aspect, like not their codes, laws, anything, because we think so different in certain aspects. And another thing is that for a government to actually be valid, it has to be at the consent of the governed. So,
that's right.
Meaning that people have to have a certain mentality that's aligned with them to even consent to them governing them, to Europeans governing them. Like, this is in their early beginnings in North America. This is all documented law. This is fact. So, usually, if you consent to something, you're in agreement with it, you know, but that plays out on so many different levels because, you know, it goes back to the fact that we say we are law, like the people are the law, you know, and in multiple things you do, consent is such an intangible but essential aspect of it, you know what I mean? And if the people don't consent to that, there's no validity to it. But if they do, this is what gives it validity. And I just think that it goes back to the mentality of, do you accept that? So you're going to accept to be governed by a society who says you're a criminal if you're a grown being riding down the street without a helmet, or you can't ride on the sidewalk. We want you to be put in danger, so you got to ride your bike in the middle of the street. Like, these are crazy ordinances that they come up with, that, and though they're not laws, if people consent to be governed by that, this is where the validity comes in, under assumption. So, you know, I just say that if we do go back to that ancient state of mind of our foremothers and forefathers, a lot of these pilgrim designs will be dissolved in the mental first, because we know man is mind and everything starts in the mental. So if you start dissolving their conception of, you know, because mind you, these are the same people who told you that, you know, the value of the Holy Trinity was absent of the mother, right? And now, you know, the man isn't anything, and divided up the family and things like that based off of their ideology or ways of thinking that they could think to get you to think outside of national principles. So you got Moors who've accepted that they came from the Trinity of a mother, of a father, a son, and a Holy Ghost with no mother involved. These are clear signs of, you know, Christian dogma, and that's just what it is, because we didn't have those concepts of thinking inclusive of one another prior to the European coming with that mentality of division or dividing up nation. Like, and that's really what it really is. So I say that to say that if we don't have the same natural law philosophies, right, and this is all due respect, no disrespect, but we're talking about a society who totally disregarded natural law and put in quote unquote same-sex rights into place under their jurisdiction, meaning that they put so many families under corporate jurisdiction through the marriage license, they was like anybody could get it now. You know what I mean? Everybody could become chattel property, even if it's same sex. But in the law of nature, that's not natural. And I'm not knocking anybody who's going through that. I'm just saying the facts are the facts. It's documented in law with the unions are built on. Now, and that's not, again, knocking anybody who's on some other. But what I'm saying is you're talking about a society who does not acknowledge natural law in, their administrations and things like that. So how can we take a design from these same people and say that we're a part of that, or that's our law, or that's, no, unless you consent to that. That's really what it boils down to. And I just say that I think if we start using our reasoning mind, a lot of the severance that needs to happen can start happening, but as long as people feel like they want to be, and not to be on like I'm a separatist, but international law is international law. We are not the same. That's the bottom line. We do not have the same nationality. Even though Europeans claim to be Americans, they are not. They never will be. All right? So I'm not a separatist. I just recognize we have differences, and I respect those differences. So, lions aren't mad at tigers because they're not tigers. And tigers aren't mad at lions because they're not lions. We're just different, and until the natural law or the natural aspect of these truths are restored back to the mentality of our people, you're going to see things like that. People claiming that they're the, quote, president of the United States and haven't been elected. They're not Trump. They're not even part of any of the bloodlines that had anything to do with, the lineage of the modern Europeans here in North America. But they feel inclined to attach to that. So what happened was parasites took over the host, and the host just became a parasite. So now you have some of our people who are just trying to the Europeans as a host, whereas it was vice versa. The Europeans attached to Moors as the host while they were the parasite, and, now it's like the takeover of the body, politics, the nation, so I don't know. I just think that, the vision is international at this point, and to even go there, we have to keep in mind that we are not the same. Like, that's just the bottom line. French don't claim to be Chinese. Germans don't claim to be French. You know what I mean? British don't claim to be Germans, although we could break it down how they all really, Germans, but we're not the same. It's a difference. It is, and that's just natural law. That's a self-evident truth that's not so self-evident anymore, I guess, to some people, because you can't tell them, they don't have some right to equality with these Europeans when they're the nobles, they're the exalted ones, but want to put themselves on the equal station. And I hate to say that in a way where anybody takes it to feel arrogant and holier than thou, but what I'm saying is know yourself, know your position, because we are not the same. You do have exaltations. They're talking about your ancestors as magnanimous ones, and your majesty and all of these things. So, there's levels to it, and I don't see how something that has different qualities natural can be considered equal. Like, It's just not. It's such a self-evident truth that that's not true. And to think otherwise is a blatant deception, or to your own self of what you're seeing. Now, to be able to discern it and to put it in the category it belongs may take some reflection, but people have been told as a psychological operation that everybody's equal. You know what I mean? That yeah, we got equality with the Europeans in the 60s. No, you got put up under the wing. You know what I mean? You got put up and you integrated. You got mixed. Basically, the uncut coffee got watered down with milk. So that's all that happened. You know what I mean? That's just what happened. So no, you didn't get all exclusive. It was a mixture. And in doing that, they were able to infuse or mix themselves in it. And the reality is we have to understand that that's not, because we was also speaking of this too. I'm not like speaking of the Ku Klux Klan man, who the head of the Ku Klux Klan, who got shot down. Like, I'm not mad at the Ku Klux Klan for having, their bylaws saying, look, you are not to mix with these dark-skinned Moors, etc. Like, because Noble Drew Ali was telling us the same thing. Like, we not, as a pure and clean nation, we're not trying to amalgamate with the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Their whole thing is they wanted to remain the pale-skinned nations of Europe. They didn't want to get wiped out via Moors amalgamating with them. And I'm like, well, at the same time, that's what's good. Now, if we could take that on multiple levels, y'all be Europeans and do what y'all do over there, because if you ask me, the Europeans, the modern Europeans who are claiming to be Americans and the Ku Klux, like, all of them, they should be on reservations somewhere, if anybody. They should have a specific area cut out where they could do all the malicious shit they do just in that one area. They like to do whatever they do amongst their people, keep that over there. And if you come outside of these boundaries, what time it is. Things need to be flipped and reversed severely. Like, it's just the truth. So, and I mean, not to say, look, they need to just have a place where they could run free and basically, have hell here on earth and it be all good. No. I'm just saying, y'all got this little spot of land, y'all do what y'all do. But again, a lot of things that has happened and why people, specifically Moors nowadays, feel like they have to be a part of the Pilgrim design is based off of a lack of multiple things. And one of them, which is rooted in natural law, is geography. The earth measures. They really measure the earth, or they view the earth based off of the modern European map, meaning they don't see it all as natural land. So therefore, they attach to, because they lack knowledge of geography, they don't even know that Canaan land, what's being called Canada and what's being called United States, is all North America. So they're mentally in slavery, like Noble Drew Ali said, based off of the fact that they don't know one of the principles, which is environment. You need to know environment, and that doesn't just mean your room or your house. Like, if we are these divine spiritual beings, you should consider the planet Earth as your environment in that aspect. So if that would be the case, you need to know geography, earth measures, and things like that. And a lack of that knowledge will have a more in a state of the European ideology of geography, or earth, or geometry, etc., earth measurements, earth knowledge, and things like that, because they only look at the map from post 1492, and therefore, not to say things don't, happen in, like, life isn't a big timeline, if you will. They can never connect back to the ancient natural law of natural liberty and things like that, because the concept is bordered, literally. It's bordered.
They weren't a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's borders on their thinking. So, to take the borders off and to look at this planet Earth as superior to even the pilgrims being on it, because the ideology is that or the assumption is that the pilgrims, the pale-skinned nations of Europe, rule the earth. But like I said, we're seeing all of this implode on itself. They're getting chin-checked right now. Different people are deploying missiles, testing them, breaking treaties, all of these things with quote-unquote Trump as president of that corporation that Moriscos want to be a part of so bad. So bad. No different. Yeah, it's no different than we have so much we could do collectively together, right? But let's look at our greats in the sports. Now, some of us have never seen a contract. It might be in their contracts, but let's say we take all of the carbonated Moors in football or basketball. Without a shadow of a doubt, they have enough notes or finance or whatever to start their own leagues. They have these collectively, those resources are there. But it won't happen. It's not happening because it's much more easier to be a part of that and not have to, kick out whatever is necessary to make sure we have these things in place. Going back again to different things, it's just interesting how if you do a comparative analysis of the things we were doing before we integrated with the Europeans, how things were going pretty well, and the result of afterwards, and how some of us even made it happen with the integration and all of that. But I'm just saying, overall, we was doing well. With that, I give the floor. Islam.
Islam.
Are you muted?
Wow, I said that was a great analogy of going back to the mindset of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. That was really good. Islam, I yield the floor.
Yes. All right, so what we're going to do at this time is we are going to take a few calls. If you have a question, comment, press 1 on your telephone dial, and we will take our callers in the...
You're not clear. It sounds like something's in front of your mic. We can't understand you.
Oh, all right, because I didn't do anything.
All right, there you are. That's a little better.
All right. All right, so we'll take callers. Press 1 on your telephone dial, and we'll take the calls in the order that we receive them. Caller 206-482, you are live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwest Maxim.
Islam family. This is Raji Bey, and I'm calling from or near the Corporation of Seattle. And I wanted to call in. What's up, Cool Joe and Ms. Raheem and my great brothers? Yes, thank you. I want to just first start off by saying to my mothers, Anna E. and Roz, thank you.
Right.
Thank you for being the mothers that you are. Wow. Because without the mothers, there would be no us. And me being a son, I recognize that the importance of having our mother. But I also recognize the importance of having my brother.
That's right.
And for a few years now, I've been listening in. I say about 4 years I've been listening in. This is my first time actually calling, but I've been listening in for about 4 years now. And I've been gaining strength through my knowledge, through my reading, and the information that I've been picking up through the literature and listening in. And being up here in or near around the corporation in Seattle, we always got the information last. It didn't matter if it was clothes or the new movie or whatever it was. Everybody up here got the information last. So everywhere I go, nowadays, I just share the light of information. I was a Moor then because not only have I been studying our history and everything, I've been studying myself, which I'm confident in my walk, my stance, and standing on my square. But I was a Moor then, and I'm a Moor now. And that's never going to change.
That's right.
But I do know that being out this way, my challenges that I'm up against are being a Moor. Because a lot of my people and our people are asleep. A lot of them are dead. And talking to them is like wasting energy. But I still provide that energy in hopes I can be some type of light and waking my people up, because it's sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. These people done did a number on us.
Yeah.
And I've been before I even came into the knowledge of our Moorish bloodline, I was always picking up books and reading. I always had some type of feeling against these people. And so I always been, searching. I always knew that I had to have some type of knowledge of who these people were in order to know who I am. And so as I kept studying and studying and studying, I kept unlocking the truth. I kept unlocking these doors that's been locked on us. And I can't even express to you how much I am so happy to be living in this time right now.
All right.
Of this information. And the books that R.V. Bay has provided, me and my queen, Kush, we have got the books from R.V. Bay, and they've been helping us and assisting us in unlocking more of this truth, and it's been very, very, very helpful for us. And now I'm ready to get this information out to more other people, and that's what I do. That's what, everywhere I go, I'm sharing it with the people, and some people frown on it. They're afraid. They scared. But shoot, I was never scared. I ain't never been scared, not of these people, because now that I know that these people are foreigners,
yes,
I'm not afraid of them. And so, I just wanted to call in and say I love y'all. I love the work that you guys are doing. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. We are family. And RV Bay is the place to be. I've been reading and studying RV Bay now since my little bro came to me and said, man, guess what? I was like, what? He was like, man, you ever heard of the Moors? And start busting his knowledge down to me. And although he was new to it, for the last few years, we've been studying together, and we still build together. He down in Khalifa now, visiting his family. But at the same time, we've been putting in this work up here. We done been to court on these people. And there was a time when we was going to court, and they just do anything they want to do to us. Now, we done been in the court and shut them down about that foolishness that they doing. So, again, I don't want to take up too much time. I sincerely want to say, I love you, mothers, and thank you. And I love you, brothers. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? We over here near and around the corporation of Seattle, and us Moors that are here, we're building, and we're building, and we're building. It's a great time to be living in this time right now, but it's also sad because a lot of our people just don't get it. And I always like to use the analogy of Noah. When Noah preached the same sermon to the people about the flood was coming, wasn't nobody believing him? It's the same thing now. Ain't nobody going to hear. They're not trying to hear it, but the Moors that are waking up and hearing this and really studying and putting in that work, because you got to put in some work, fam. And we putting in work. Right. We putting in some serious work. As y'all putting in work, and we appreciate y'all from the bottom of our heart. And this is coming from the Moors, and I'm speaking for all the Moors that's right here in this said territory that we've been studying with, that we helping to assist in them, helping them raise up their kundalini so they can start seeing with their third eye.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you, mothers, and I appreciate my brothers. That's all I really wanted to say is just thank you. And anybody that's listening that may be new, stay on RV Bay. Go ahead and order you some of them books because they gonna help you in assisting and unlocking some of them lies. Don't be afraid of these people because they ain't nothing but foreigners. If you believe and you have and you got all the truth, stand on that truth. Our laws gonna protect us, 100%. And that's just real talk. So I'm gonna let the floor. I'm gonna yield the floor and let someone else come in. I just wanted to be. This is my first time again calling in, but I've been listening for 4 years. And how about that? This is my first time calling.
Wow.
And so before I get off of here, we are going to be having Brother Cujo up here in April 14th and 15th. Me and Queen Kushida Bay, and we're going to have Cujo up here coming to teach a lesson to these Moors up here about their nationality and birthright. Because, like y'all said, the truth is that is the order of the day. Get your mind right. Whoever it is, get your mind right. That's the order of the day. That's the only way we're going to fix this problem is nationality. That's the only way we're going to fix this problem is nationality. So I'm going to yield the floor, and peace and Islam to all y'all. We love y'all from the bottom of our heart, and thank you. Islam. Peace.
Islam. Oh, wow.
Peace and love.
I just want to interject something. He mentioned that he's in the courts and stuff like that and using information and whatever, or in these venues called courts. It's just interesting because I had just got an email from someone. They had ordered their cards and everything, and then they kind of like stopped in the middle because they said a temple, number 75, wherever that is, told them not to get cards from us because RV Bay has not won a case. What are they talking about? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are they talking about? So that's just like
but look, that's the retarded shit, and excuse my expression, because they have no idea how many cases was won on this side, and don't nobody gotta explain nothing necessarily, but real facts. You know what I mean? And nobody gotta explain or bring anything up, but I know there's been specifically you on this line now have won multiple cases that some of us find ourselves not being able to fight out of, just common things. So they can miss us with that. They can miss us with that. They was not hit. Like, this is the thing, and I don't mean to sound arrogant because of this. All due respect to the work Noble Drew Ali put in, but if it wasn't for a lot of the work you put in, that Moors put in, that we know directly, like, in all due respect to the brethren who just called in, but like he said he was in Seattle somewhere, so-called, they get the information last. It's a lot of people like that around the country. Around the continent, and this doesn't make them bad people. But trust me, these people who are coming out speaking up against us, like, if it wasn't for the work that was put in by you, by Taj, Nature, regardless of pilgrim opinions, You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people wouldn't even know about Moors present day. But not that it wasn't being taught of before, but I don't even want to say wouldn't know about Moors. Wouldn't know about the potency of effectuating nationality and birthright. That's a fact. We're talking directly in the hub of where the Pilgrims came at on the East Coast. There's been so much work put in, so I respect everybody all across the globe, but I can't respect the opinion of somebody in the backwoods of Wisconsin somewhere talking about what Moors didn't do. I seen this shit, you know what I mean, with my own eyes on multiple occasions. I'm not going for the illusion. Though they put things in writing where they try to slander Moors and all of that, no. I've seen Moors go in the courtroom and just wreck shit. Excuse me if I got to be that explicit. But with the law, you know, and put things in perspective. I also seen Moors have to fight and struggle with that fight, you know. But I also seen, and shout out to the sisters, because I've been standing in so-called courtrooms where sisters say all types of shit that, brothers, we could not do that. We would never get away with that shit. I mean, and these Europeans completely just bow down when these sisters are speaking. And they might not even be, like, they might just be telling the magistrate straight up how they feel about him or her. And these European magistrates, from what I've seen with my own eyes, and couldn't believe this shit, because I'm like, and this was no disrespect, I'm like, yo, I know a little bit more law, but I can't command the attention of these European pilgrim males like this sister can. And she ain't even really knowing all that much law. But she telling the magistrate, you a liar, you ain't shit, you ain't nothing. And he's sitting there eating all of this. I'm like, yo, oh my gosh, don't get hit with a contempt. And the Magi is just eating this. I'm like, oh, I could never do that. You know what I mean? So like I was saying with Ani earlier, it's the times where the warriors and the queens, or the warriors and the matriarchs, are not just going to have to get together, but actually strategize how that energy could be utilized also for what the warrior cause is, because, you know, it's more so we stone cold cut to the truth, to the fact. Let's skip the BS. But the sisters, they could do that on so many different levels, whereas brothers would never, like, like, if from what I've seen sisters say and how they said it, I'm just speaking from dead, like, real life experience. Now, I can't say this is for everybody, but I know what I've seen in life. And goddamn it, from what I've seen sisters say and the way they said it to these European magistrates, they'll take that. They'll eat that from a sister. If it was a brethren, we would be getting contempt. We would be getting jumped in the back by a bunch of European cavaliers and shit. All of these things, because it's just a difference, because they know that, okay, she is the matriarch. Regardless of what state she's in, she makes the system matriculate. The matriarch matriculates. That's just the bottom line. So I say that to say that, again, the warriors and the matriarchs, or in other words, the pieces on the chessboard have to start communicating and correlating with the quote-unquote queen, you know, because, and that's all due respect, because I know some of our sisters like, I'm not no queen, I'm a respect to y'all too. I know y'all out there, and some of you may be listening right now. Well, what I'm saying is the matriarch feminine principle, it has to start correlating with the warrior energy in a strategic way. You know what I mean? Because y'all can get in places that we can't. It's just a fact. Y'all can do things we can't. Like, I swear, man, I mean, from what I've seen, it might be something different for somebody else's life experience, but from my testimony, I know I've seen this And I was in shock because the sister, she wasn't even talking. She wasn't even quoting law. She was just telling the magistrate about himself. You're a liar. You're playing games. Stop playing with me. You ain't shit. All of these things. And I'm like, yo, like, is she really like, she said, she just basically came in like, I am the law was like to the ninth power. All right, she was going all the way in. No statute quoting, no constitution quoting, no nothing. Just, this is who you are. She came in with the mirror on the pilgrim, and he had to eat that. And I'm like, well, damn, if she had the law added on behind that, it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? And, yeah, I wanted to say that, and I also wanted to say that because I know you've had some experience where you did your thing, and you was mentioning about what they say RV Bay hasn't won a case. You need to sit down. They don't know nobody from RV Bay. These are spectators who have been forced to come outside because RV Bay Publications, Cool Joe, MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, all active Moors for real, have been putting out information where now they're forced to speak up. And since they slack so hard, all they can do is try to slander. But look, we've done a very great work. The people attest to that, you know, and these lames who are strictly about their YouTube fame, they're imploding. Y'all can't keep it together with who y'all trying to get to come at us. Y'all falling apart on each other, exposing each other as lames and sellouts. So, I mean, leave us alone. Just leave us alone. We are good. Just leave us alone. And also I want to say, big thanks to RV Bay and everybody, and I mean everybody who subscribed to Mantis Views 29. That channel is coming along. Right now, we're at 991 subscribers, so we're about to breach 1,000 subscribers, the first 1,000 subscribers. So I want to thank everybody who has subscribed. If you're listening now, thank you. And if you're listening now and haven't subscribed, help us get over that 1,000 because with the more, the bigger the audience, the more classics that are going to come out. So please support. And I want to say that, and I also want to give a big thanks to the brother from Philly, the artist from Philly, Mikkel Gibson, the art bully. We have a classic that will be coming out, but definitely it depends on the audience. So thanks everybody for subscribing, and you know, the more subscribers, the more classics that are going to come out of the vault. So I just want to say to everybody who ever shared, ever mentioned, ever acknowledged, or anything they can relate to, Cool Joe, I mean, everybody, you know, it is what it is. So we trust to keep growing, you know. Islam.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. All right.
The brother Mario Bay as well. Shout out to him as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Islam.
And Ronnie Salamel out in Cali, Khalifa. I give him crop too.
Oh yeah. Rami Salam L. Great brethren. Big acknowledgement to him. Exactly. Everybody, all active Moors, Moors director, everybody. Pardon me. I know we could list appellations for days, but for sure. So
actually, for the active Moors who were enforcing the Constitution, because you know that Constitution, they ain't just.
You're kind of low. We can't hear you.
Oh, all right. I don't know why, because all right.
Your voice is low. Go ahead. Try it again.
All right. Really, we need to acknowledge Moors all around the world.
Yeah.
Who are actively doing the work of enforcing. Actually, it is the Constitution. We're going to talk about that on tomorrow. It is the American well, it's called the American Constitution, but really it's based on universal principles. So you are talking the equivalent of the American Constitution is the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, and we're going to talk about those two tomorrow in conjunction with another interesting document. So make sure and tune in tomorrow. But there's people, Moors, all around the world who are doing the work that is making it happen for all Moors, whether you are active or not.
Yeah.
Right.
It goes right to the prophecies and the statements, because the prophet said, hey, basically, if you read the prophecies and the statements, he's telling you, hey, baby, whether you do something or not, this ship is moving on. This train is moving on. All right?
It's our time.
And it's moving on where ain't no more trains coming after this. If you ain't on this train, you gonna have to come back. You gonna have to come back. You're gonna have to reincarnate, go through all the shit I'm saying it. I'm using the word shit, right? Because that's what it is. You're gonna have to go through all the shit you just went through to get to the place that you left off to move forward. I'm thinking, for me personally, I don't want to go through that. I will eat crow. I will do whatever I need to do. All right, so that I make it to the next transition, because I've been through some stuff in this little bit of time I serve right here that I don't want to have to repeat. I like to go and, step on some fresh soil. I don't want to have to re-walk on this particular path. So I'll do whatever I got to do to get to the next level, the next phase.
Islam.
Yeah.
And one more thing to add too, just for clarity's sake, keep in mind there's no such thing as RV Bay Publications card. So
Thank you.
As soon as you hear people talking crazy like that, automatically know that they have motives, because there's no such thing called that. There's nowhere on the site where you could push to get the RV Publications card. When you look at the card, it doesn't say RV Bay Publications on it.
No.
So these people clearly have motives when they speak like that. Well, that card never did anything. Card never does anything. 99% of Moors with quote-unquote RV Bay Publications card don't even use the card when they go to court.
Yeah, but let's keep it 100 though. You could do just about anything in society with that card. I know from my experience.
Mine
it's
too.
Only the Ku Klux Klan in blue suits, or those who might be in plain clothes, who try to make a dispute about it from time to time. Like not all the time, but from time to time. You might come across a highwayman might be harassing a Moor, and the Moor might have their true, that true identification card on them. Because remind yourselves, the driver's license is not identification. It never has been, because it does not include nationality on it. And for the most part, I mean, anything you could think to do in society is never a problem. It's just usually the blue suiters who try to cause a discrepancy. Why? Because they're the ones who are the military force for stealing and trying to maintain their position on your chessboard. I mean, on your estate or your status. And I say chessboard too because they're like, yo, look, this is war, you know. We're trying to capture your queen. They're going after the booty. If they got the booty, which is the queen or the matriarch, and they could mold her mind, then she like, y'all, like, more than likely you could take a loss. Once you lose the matriarch on the chessboard, you can take a loss. You can still win, but more than likely you're gonna take a loss. You know, you can't do what you could do in certain aspects. So this is how they're seeing it, and they're like, I dare you to claim to be who? A Moor, a knight, a king, what? Who? Nah. You know, because they're on the other team. That's just what you need to realize. And again, even that team is imploding on itself because, again, the head of the Ku Klux Klan got found murdered this morning, all right, by his wife and stepson, number one suspects, all right? And that says a lot because families, right, ain't that how Moors started falling apart? Started killing each other. The men and women wasn't getting along in the household, and that shit made everything start collapsing from the inside out. Now they're going through their period of fall. Just watch. Yeah. They're going to go through it. It's going to be a natural occurrence where Moors might not have to lift a finger for this thing to be back in their hands. Might not. You know what I mean?
I don't think they will need to lift a finger. However, one of the things that we look, this, like I said, this thing is moving forward. Whether you on it or not, it's moving forward. All right. So what that means is, look, what we have to think about as a people is, because, see, these modern Europeans, they're going to be gone. Some of us going to be gone, too. But it don't matter about who's going to be gone. The question is, who's going to be here? And in what capacity are you going to be able to help keep it together? I mean, because, you know, we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic, right? We're going to have some sort of system set up where we're going to, you know, we're going to keep the people are going to be able to come and air their grievances, all right? That, right now, that is like, okay, there's a lot of background noise going on.
That might have been me. I apologize.
Right. So what we have to look at is we have to, right now is a practice. All of this stuff that we're going through with these modern Europeans, this is preparing us, all right? Because we're going to be back in those seats. It's already been prophesied, and the prophecies have been coming to fruition one after another, after another, after another. So, a matter of time before we are back in our seats. Are we going to be able to effectuate? Are we going to be able to do what has to be done in terms of maintaining the balance for nature harmoniously and in harmony with universal law? Are we going to be able to do that? We got to get it together. This is the time right now for us to get it together. All that we're going through, it may be unpleasant, but it is preparing us for when we get into those seats, because we've got to be objective. And we have got to be speaking from a position of national standing, not foreign standing. If you are sitting around somewhere talking about you a member of the United States of America Republic, you just said, I'm a foreigner. You got to go. I don't know where you're going to go, but you got to get the hell up out of here.
Exactly.
All right?
And this is why I think it would. I don't know what it would take, but we as a people, the Aboriginal people of North America, need to start. I don't know what, like, we need to do something. This is just an idea, on international level, international negotiations and establishments and relations, where it's like, let's set up something where we can start deporting these modern Europeans back to where they came from. You know what I mean?
Where did they come from?
I was, from my recollection, I know they say that, they was made in a lab in Argentina, but on a political level, all right, they came from Europe, or if you really want to get it, West Asia, because Europe is not a continent or anything separate from Asia, just like Canada is not separate from North America. So it's no secret. It's no document. I mean, it's documented. It's nothing secret about the fact that these people claim to have came from Europe across the Great Atlantic Ocean way after we were already here. So that's their claim to fame, okay? When they were colonies and were subject to their mother country, they were trying to break their independence. Break their dependence from Great Britain, which is why they claimed or declared independence, shall I say, for the record, in 1774 or 1776, etc. All right? So we know that we're not Negro, black, and colored, but the modern European is a Negro. So we need to start talking internationally to Europe to take these niggas back, these modern Europeans, the true niggas, the true Negroes, because, they're in our land, and you got Moors in Morocco who are present day kicking Christians out according to the treaty. So, these true Negroes who came here and try to switch places with the true Americans or Al-Moroccans or Moors, and who are claiming to be Americans when they're really modern Europeans or pilgrims, they need to be claimed back by their parent country, just like they're trying to say our Mexican family who is here on the North American continent, which is also their home, needs to be claimed back by the, quote, Mexican government. The reality is no. Whoever claimed y'all needs to claim y'all back. Whoever you declare independence from, they need to go ahead and go back to them, who feel like they have a claim on the North American land, which they don't have by birthright. This is all a facade. This is a dog and pony show. And what I'm saying is the only people who can make a claim that trumps Trump and any pilgrim's claim is Moors, okay, descendants of Moroccans, born in America, however you, Moabites, all right, we all are all Hamites, Canaanite brethren, Hittite brethren, all of these things are us Aboriginal people of the planet Earth, Asiatics here in North America, Aboriginal indigenous people to the land. Then as though family starts with, government is family. All I'm saying is on an international level, it would be great if we could set up something like how the Moroccan kingdom has set something up where they're deporting, for the record though, not just saying this like churchgoers, like it's on the record about Christians getting deported. Why is that language on the record? Because that's the same language in law that you see in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. All right, and we need to, I just think it wouldn't be a bad idea if we had something like that eventually in place. But then, of course, that goes into too much of a big idea to have, boating industries and boats and deportation, transportation, and, I don't know, but something needs to happen, whereas there's a superseding claim to these pilgrims, specifically, with Trump and a lot of modern Europeans who feel like him. The concepts that they have needs to be countered, and even though it's an international problem, the people in the 7 quote Islamic states that he banned, they can't do it like Moors possibly could, I don't think. And that's why I say, it's Moors time on an international level. And with that, I yield the floor.
Yes, Islam. You're absolutely correct, and me personally, I'm because we really need to research this and analyze things from an international perspective, and we really haven't, at least yet, we have not sent out documents on an international level really for some time, and it's actually past due because we got some things we need to straighten up and clarify. And so, but for that to happen, we got to put we need a little bit more information, because one of the things that Abdullah has pointed out is that we need to come in under our Moorish titles, not Moorish titles, but the seats of the Moors does not have the same name as these modern Europeans under the United States of America. So the United States may be some tie-in, but the name of those positions are going to be of an Islamic nature, because that's what this country is based on. That's why it's kind of so ridiculous for for Trump to be sitting there trying to make an attack, because what he's doing is he's attacking Islam, which is so convoluted when the United States of America is based on Islam. That's documented. It's not just in the Barbary Treaty. All right, I've been looking through the congressional records, and I have found much documentation that speaks of Islam and the relationship that we have with the United States of America. It's like right there. Trump is so uninformed of the heritage and lineage of this land as it relates to these Slavics who came here from out of the damn prisons of Great Britain. He's clearly uninformed of that history. And I can understand why, because, it's not, well, let me rephrase that. He is very clear about his history, but they're not talking the true history. They're talking the reconstructed fabrication of his story.
Right.
That's what they talk from. So that's why he can comfortably sit in that position and talk about he's going to ban people who are coming in under Islam, when in Article 6 it says there will be no religious test. Now, if we're going to start putting religious tests in the mix, baby, you got to come out of that seat. You sure as hell can't be Christian. It's right in the Constitution. Check it out. But let's take our next caller. Caller 318-541. You are live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwestern Exxon.
Family, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi. I am Maria Demaya Bay, and I'm in the construct of one of the. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm at work and I have these earphones on so I won't wake the people up. So that's why I keep asking, can you hear me? Sorry. I am in one of the worst racist constructs, if you call it, Louisiana. And it's amazing what I have been going through. To finally know who I am, I think is awesome. And it's like now I'm 50 years old. I don't mind telling anybody because I look like I'm 25. So to be 50 and go back to when you were small and you had to stand, it's like I've been standing on my square for so long, and now I know why. You know, it's the bloodline. If something is in you, it's in you. It's all about how you handle it, how you deal with it. But being as though I know who I am now, I have been learning different things every day. It's like every day I learn something different and something new. But I'm in the process now of, well, I was waiting on to receive my green card back from my paper, sending my paperwork to Homeland Security. Well, I have tried, like, for the third time, and I'm almost afraid to try again. The first time I received my paperwork back, it was unopened, and I had the wrong address. Okay, which is understandable. Okay, so I go and I get the correct address. I send my paperwork back for a second time. Well, I received it back yesterday, opened, and there's all kinds of stuff on it, all kinds of tags on the front of it. And you could see where someone opened it, and then they put a green tag on it and said, customer, return to sender, customer, package opened when received. And the only thing I can come up with is, okay, somebody has got to be sabotaging this mail. Like, seeing the fact that Homeland Security is on it, being curious and opening it, seeing what it is, taping it up, and sending it back to me. Now, the difference this time when I received it, the card wasn't with it. The certified green card, it wasn't with it. So what do I receive today? I received the green card in the mail when I had to go to the post office a few days ago and pick up the envelope. So I'm like, what is going on? Now, this is not only happening to me. This has also happened to my husband. So we're sitting at home looking at two envelopes that keeps coming back to us. So what I need to know is, okay, what do I do? There's no way we're ever going to find out who opened these things.
What paperwork are you talking about? Are you talking about
I think she's talking about the 7 locations.
The lawful notice, and
yes.
That's all. Okay, but actually, that's a courtesy to them. That's a courtesy.
Okay,
I mean,
so do I need not just worry about it?
Well, look, here's the thing, sis. Here's the thing. Do you have a green card saying that they received it?
Nothing is written on the card because they sent the envelope back to me.
Listen, hold on. The green return receipt, all right? Usually it has with it when you attach a green and white sticky to it.
Right.
All right. Now, let me ask. Now, on the signature card, was it signed?
No.
All right.
Hold
on.
That's what I'm saying. It never made it there.
Hold on. Now, this is what you need to do. You need to go online, and you need to put in that tracking number, and you need to see where it went. Because if it went to its destination, was received, and then returned, you need to take that to the post office
and tell them that you want the 5 whatever you say, 5 notes for the signature card to be completed that was not completed.
Okay.
But you're not going to know if it was even delivered and where did it go. You got that tracking online. You know what I mean? You can go up on the USPS and put in the tracking number and see if it went and came back. Now, if it didn't go anywhere, then you need to write a letter to the United States Postmaster, because that's tampering with the mail. That means that it stayed right at that post office, it was opened and returned to you. So you need to report that to the United States Postmaster. But you're not going to know none of that until you go online and you track the movement of it.
Okay. Yeah, I was so hot, I didn't even think about the online tracking thing at all.
Well, baby, let me tell you what you need to, and this is not just for you. This is for anybody who's listening. If you got movement on that package, then you have confirmation that it went and was received. That's all you want.
Even though I have the package back.
Baby, you know how many times I have gotten packages back? It don't matter. Look, I sent the package to the Justice Department, and somebody could see you got blockers in the mailroom.
Yes.
All right, so
that's what I think may be going on.
It does. But see, you have to look at this is called. You have to look at what is your objective. Your objective is just to put them on notice. Do you have confirmation that you put them on notice? Yes.
Okay.
Now, whether they want to send it back or not is irrelevant. You have confirmation that they have been noticed.
Okay. Okay.
See, what they try to do, because they act like a lot of, now see, in this case, you're just giving them lawful notice. But now, in some cases, like, for example, like when we, like if we have some demand made by employees of these various municipal corporations, you can send them like an avenue of jurisdiction where you're asking them for an oath, a bond. If they don't have an oath or a bond, then they got to have a charter. Either way, they're supposed to be sending you something back. They act like they don't have to respond. And sometimes they will take your stuff and send it right back to you. Now, just because they sent it back to you does not negate the fact that you got an obligation to respond. That's not your case. That's not your situation. But I'm just saying that this is what they do because they feel like, well, if I send it back, I don't have to answer. Baby, you are a public servant. You have an obligation to answer. Don't try to play no games with me. But I'm just saying that that's not your situation. You put them on lawful notice. You got documentation that it was received. What you do, this is what I do. When I send out, I don't even send signature cards no more. I don't do it. Because the certified mail is confirmation that it was sent certified under the United States Postmaster. That's supposed to be above, just a tad above first-class mail. First-class mail is guaranteed.
Right.
So I just put I just send it certified mail with the sticky on the envelope, and then the part that gets torn off, I staple that to my document. That's my proof. I can go right to the United States Postmaster online tracking, put in the number. I can see, yep, it made it to its destination.
Okay.
Now, if they want to send it back to me, they got to put a stamp on it and send it back to me.
Well, I just feel like they're like playing some type of game, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is the second time this has happened.
They're really not. No, they're not. You have to think strategy. You have to think in terms of strategy. Okay?
Right.
The objective is, did you give them lawful notice?
Okay. Yes.
The answer is yes. That was your objective has been met. Now, whether they want to play games or not is irrelevant, because here's another thing that people need to do. I don't care what these people around on planet on this particular Moroccan soil is claiming to be. We all independently ought to be doing research. For example, Homeland Security is a private corporation. They're not a part of the federal government at all. Just like the Internal Revenue Service is not a part of the federal government, the Social Security Administration Corporation is not a part of the federal government. These are contractors that they have been hired to perform a function, to administrate. That's why they're called Social Security Administration Corporation. This Homeland Security Corporation, even the postmaster, the USPS, that is a contractor, all right, that was created in 1971. Google it. People, we need to Google. We don't even know who we're dealing with, who we're talking to. What is their importance? What is their relevance to us? How are they involved with the federal or state government? Because ain't no goddamn local government. I don't care what they want to call themselves. Ain't no such thing sanctioned in the Constitution as a local government.
Right.
All right? There's only federal and state. That's all.
That's interesting.
We need to do the necessary research. We send in documents out to Homeland Security, the Justice Department, Internal Revenue Service. What's the other one? You know, have we done the research? We can't always depend on people to do it for us and send it to us in a nice package. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying because what if you're called? What if you got to put in a claim against these people? We don't even know who we're dealing with. And in law, all parties must be identified. So one of the ways that we can get to relax a little bit is to research some of these people. Then when they send your paperwork back, you'll be like, oh, you must have forgot. You're the public servant. Depending on what your strategy is.
Okay.
Because if you just want to put them on the public notice, if you just want to put them on notice, you have met your objective. Now, if there's some other strategy you got in the mix, then you plan for that. But when it comes to the name correction proclamation, that is simply putting them on notice. That's it. It don't matter whether they want to. You ain't looking for them to acknowledge nothing.
Okay.
And this is not just for you. Look, I get so many emails. I didn't get. They didn't recognize my paperwork. They didn't acknowledge my nationality. I ain't looking for nobody to recognize or acknowledge what is. And we need to take a page from my brothers and sisters around the world, because when they step into any particular situation, the issue of their national standing is never up for discussion.
Right.
It is what it is. And we need to take the same position.
Well, the way I see it now, thank you. You brought to light I have a better understanding now. But the way I'm feeling, I have a bigger fish to fry. I've been in my home for a year now. So once I do the name change for the state of Louisiana, then I have to deal with these people about my house. So because I actually intend for this house to be my house. No one's going to come take anything from me. So that's what I'm studying on and working on now. So that's challenging in itself. So that's another battle I look forward to. So, but
well, you know what? And it's all about strategy.
Yeah, because I'm gonna need that to deal with these devils.
Honey, don't even call them that, because see, that just sends off the wrong message, the wrong energy, and you know what? Really, you know, we need to be. I know that these people, it's you know what? It's not a whole lot of them that are operating in a negative fashion. It really isn't. It's only a small amount of them that are operating in a negative fashion. There's so many more modern Europeans who just want to be able to live in peace and harmony. There's so many more. So,
yeah.
Right, so what we need to do, I'm not saying that we need to sit down and, you know, sing Kumbaya with these people, but we need to look at this from a different perspective. I understand that energy of anger. But let me tell you, boy, sometimes I used to send documents out and get them back, and the things that they used to say used to whoop me into a lather. I don't do that no more.
Well, you know, like when you learn better, you do better. So then, you know,
right.
I'm still learning.
Right. So you know, it's all about the strategy. And I can say from my own experience, and it's an everyday learning experience. Let me tell you, once you start to learn, once you start to study, it never ends. All right, it never ends. So I can tell you, like from last year, I was on like I was on roller skates, but it was a lesson that I had to go through. I wasn't angry, but I felt like I was running to keep up, and
right.
I had to go through that lesson to realize that, look, why am I running to keep up with the public servants who are out of control? Wait a minute. But, you know, it was a lesson that I had to go through. Because you don't realize just how much power you have until you're going back and forth. And, you know, the first 2, 3, 4 exchanges that are going back and forth, you're thinking, oh, my God. And then by the 5th, you're like, wait a minute, this is all it is.
Right.
I can do this. I can do this till the cows come home. Because it's like a tennis match. Whoever doesn't serve back is the one that loses. I'm going to make sure and serve back, baby.
Right. But it's challenging. I find myself having to tell myself every day, okay, it gets better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. You know, because if I don't, I'll stay in a frenzy. And that's not my intention.
That's the lesson. That's your lesson. But I can tell you, the frenzy gets a little bit less if you study and stay with the Constitution. Stay with that Constitution because, you know, Miss touched on it, and I got it when I saw this movie, The Queen of Katwe. It's a beautiful movie. And I know how to play chess now, but I haven't played in such a long time that I forgot. See, the objective of chess is to get your pawn to the other side of the chessboard, because that pawn will then become a queen, and the queen can move any way she wants. So the objective, the objective of any interaction you have in any lawful or semblance of a lawful manner is to get to the other side. So It might look like you have lost the battle, but you didn't. This is just a skirmish, and you got to keep on moving, keep on pushing that envelope till you get that pawn to the other side, and don't let nobody take it out. The only way that the pawn can get taken out is if you never respond.
Right.
And the second way the pawn can get taken out is if you move off of the Constitution. Because everything is about the Constitution. Don't let nobody tell you that this is a commercial transaction. Birthright is not up for sale or negotiation.
I got you. Lesson learned. Thank you, sister. I appreciate it so much.
All righty.
You guys keep doing the good work. I love you, and I appreciate everything you do.
All righty. Peace and love.
Peace and love, family.
Peace and love.
Islam.
All right. All right, let me make sure I get the right place. Okay, I think our next caller is caller 803-347. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwest of Mexico. Caller 803-347. All right, let's move on. Caller 214-374. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwest of Mexico.
Alfeo Bay.
You're echoing.
With Northwest of Mexico and Texas Republic. Yes, how y'all doing tonight? It's nice to hear you as usual. I always listen to you every week, but I hardly make any comments. But I appreciate all that you're doing. And one question I wanted to ask, and I think I had put it before someone else, because we know as Marcus Garvey being the harbinger, bringing the knowledge of telling us a prophet was coming. But do y'all know the picture of him that's in that big Garvey parade that they had? And the parade, they say, lasts for hours, and hundreds, thousands of us was in the parade. And he's in the back of a limo with another person and two other men in the front. Is that other person, who is that other person? I was told it was Prophet Overdrali, but somebody said it isn't. So are you familiar with that particular picture, sisters and brothers?
Yeah, I was from what I was told that it was Noble Drew Ali. From what I was told.
Yeah, the likeness. Yeah, I've seen that too, and the likeness does appear to be Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering, because some other people are from one of the Moors out of Chicago was telling me it wasn't, but y'all have confirmed it. I've heard from two people that it is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And for you who don't know about that picture, it is a very beautiful picture, and some people have it in color, and it's pretty what they have on. It shows the prophet and Marcus Garvey, and I think it's two men in the front look like military attire.
Mm-hmm.
Hattie has on.
I wonder why you would say that, though. I mean, did they say it's not him because they're not associated with each other? Because we have a postcard. Copy of a postcard where he wrote to him when he was in
prison.
That's right. So the only other reason they could say that certainly is not because of non-association, because that's not true. It would be because they're just not sure whether it's him. But the likeness, as Ms. said earlier, it looks like it is him from the likeness of what we know of other pictures of him.
Yes, that's what I said too. It looks like him also. But that was just something I wanted to confirm with y'all, and I appreciate y'all and enjoy y'all. I'll be making me another order soon of some more books because being a griot storyteller, and most of us are just stuck this time of year for what Dr. Carter G. Wishing set up as that Negro History Week. But what I've had to do is get some of the people who booked me to spread it out. I start in early January, and I said, no, you're not just going to book me in just February. Okay? We're going to spread this out because the history of the first people is every day.
Well, the Black History Month is not our history. That's for modern Europeans.
Thank you.
No, for real.
Thank you.
I mean, for real. I'm serious. When you look at now February is Black History Month. All right. Now, when you look at the history that they're presenting, they talk about the people that came over on boats. So who are the people that we know for a fact came over on boats?
Came over on them.
That's right. And you know what? They'll be celebrating that on the 4th of July.
Thank you.
They came over on the Mayflower, the Santa Maria,
and
the
Santa Maria,
Pinta. All right?
And, I know.
Right now, and they say that they've been enslaved for like 300-400 years. Hold on a minute. When you do the math, all right? They've been enslaved actually longer. They've been slaves longer than that because they came over as slaves. All right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they just flipped the script without us thinking that.
Well, actually, they didn't. They didn't flip the script. They mentally conditioned people to believe that when you're talking about black and white, you're talking about complexion. Black and white has never been about complexion because the Asiatic people are not black. You can go over to the continent they call Africa, and you can look at people that the sun been leaning on a regular basis, and they're still not black.
That's right.
So and you can look at these modern Europeans, and they're not white. They're pink. They're in some cases they're it's pink and what is the other one?
All different colors.
Red, pink and red. You know,
pink.
But pretty much
pink and red.
Pinkish non-color. All right, so that's not white either. So now, but they have mentally conditioned the people to believe that black and white is about complexion. It's not. It's about status. Right? It's about status. And then they talk about, well, we don't do away with status. You can never do away with status because really what they're trying to do, we're going to take away, we're going to do it with this class system. That's why they say we're going to initiate this democracy, and democracy is where they remove hereditary classification. Well, they talk about nationality. So when they bring in the democracy, they're talking about removing people's national standing, all right? Because if they don't remove the people's national standing, then they can never, they're always going to be not that there's an inferior people, but they can never make a lawful claim. They ain't making a lawful claim now, but they can't make a presentment of some type of a claim if the people know their nationality, which is why they got to get the people to voluntarily denationalize. And it is in the voluntary denationalization that you get people who trade places with the true black people because they've been miseducated to think that black is a complexion.
It's a complexion, yeah.
That's a miseducation. Here's one of the big giveaways. They was first Negroes. Well, what the heck is that? Then they was colored, right? Then they was black. Now they're two continents, African American.
Yeah, the African American. Now, what's the other one? Afro-American. We were a hairstyle. Afro-American
didn't last long because it was too obvious.
was a hairstyle.
It was a hair, right? It was a hairstyle. The afro was talking about somebody's hair. So now your nationality is an hair.
It's a hairstyle.
Crazy. That was way too obvious. Well, we should also
but do you remember one time when I was little, if you call somebody black, they kick your butt.
Look, I know people from this land. I know people from the landmass they refer to as Africa today. And if you call them African, that's an insult. You just denationalize them. They will whoop your behind, or they get very upset. Very. You might not be friends for long if you don't hurry up and clean it up.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to remember that what poor Dr. King said.
Say that again?
So he even knew something about that. We're in exile in our own land. And then when you interpret it with the way he was thinking, he was meaning us, but he was using that word Negro. Okay? When he said exile, how do you dissect that? The Negro is in exile in his own land.
Well, Martin Luther King was speaking on a lot of different things. So you have to look at it. You have to look at it from different angles, because Martin Luther King wasn't necessarily sent in to benefit the indigenous people. He was sent in to end that boycott because the modern Europeans realized they lost a lot of finance, because that boycott went on for about a year. That thing went on for about a year. The majority of the people that was riding them buses to get to work, the Asiatic people, specifically the mothers, because the mothers was getting on them buses to go and clean houses and take care of these modern European children, right?
You're doing maid work and housework.
That's right, that's right. So they were the majority of the people on those buses. So when the boycott started, they lost a lot of finance in the year. That was number one. And then number two, they realized that if the Asiatic people realized what kind of power they got, it would be an end of modern European colonist power. So they had to get somebody to come in and end that boycott so that the people wouldn't wake up to the power that they inherently had.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Martin Luther King comes in, because who ended the boycott?
Now, see, back to Marcus Garvey now. Now, we know Marcus Garvey came through the Canaanite temple, am I correct? Wasn't he a part of the Canaanite temple with Prophet Noble Drew Ali?
Yeah.
I know he was the forerunner for Noble Drew Ali, meaning he saved the Lord before Noble Drew Ali came. Like before Noble Drew Ali even established the old Canaanite
temple, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was the forerunner, equivalent to John the Baptist and
Baptist, yeah. Well, not as far as I know, and as when he started the United Negro Improvement Association, okay, and he came, and of course he came with the banner, which a lot of people call the flag, the red, black, and green flag, a banner, which is a banner, and we know of that history that he called it. I call it a banner of pride, okay, that he knew that would stir us up during that time. But I've out of all the time I had studied until I came into Moorish science, that's when I found out that he was the forerunner, the harbinger to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just some real
clarified banner. because a lot of people took that as a flag of a nation, and a banner is never a flag.
No.
It's a banner. The flag of the nation already exists. So,
Okay.
I'm glad that was cleared up. That you call it a banner. That's what it is.
Even still.
Yes, yes. But look, sister, I thank you so much for this call and this most interesting conversation. We've got about 15 minutes left to this broadcast, and we got a couple more people waiting to comment.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Forward and Islam, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And please have a nice.
All right, Islam. Islam.
Wow.
All right, caller 443-376. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwest Maxim. We got a couple more callers and 14 minutes and counting.
Peaceful greetings, family. I am Hassan Ghazi Obey at Northwestern Maxim. I'll just call just to say excellent class. That was all. Thank you so much. Islam, peace and love.
All right, peace and love.
All right.
All right. Caller 936-933. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwest Maximum. And please keep it brief. We got 14 minutes and a couple more callers.
Well, yes, ma'am. My name is Eric L., and I'm visiting the beautiful land of Khalifa, which they call California. And I just wanted to say that we all must remember that in order to start the chess game, the modern human was allowed to be on the board. So he already in checkmate before any moves are even made, because he was allowed to come here by a contract. He made a vow to the L's, and his vow was A-E, which was L's, I owe you. And guess what? We want to get paid. It's time to pay up. So we already on the winning table. There is no this is a beautiful thing y'all talking about, the booty and the war. That's in Popeye the Sailor Man. Y'all see that in Popeye the Brutus, is the brute U.S. corporation fighting the Moor, right? Popeye trying to pop out his eye, take his land, his olives, and his girl. Y'all see that? Y'all see Wimpy Wellington from New Zealand. That's a code word for New Zealand. The sailors and the Moors out of New Zealand. Wimpy Wellington, and this is what Wimpy do. He borrow hamburgers and he never pay it back. Tuesday, which is the day of war, Mars.
But now,
beautiful, and what does the Moor? Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm just saying the hamburgers, like even in Germany today, they use the burger. You see that beer, burger, but hamburgers, like, you know, I always thought I was thinking, was that like, you know, something symbolizing the cannibalism aspect, and the aspect of, we know the Hamites are Moors, you know, so why hamburgers? You know, like why that? You know, if the burger is a cow and it's not pork, why call it hamburger? Like, what's the science with that?
Well, you know, you're right on. They're dealing with chattel slavery. It's all about turning the native into the chattel, right? It's all in there in the symbology and the language. And listen to this: the counteraction is spinach, right? Spinach. The pot. Listen, everything is a spin, y'all. The Milky Way, the seashell, everything is a spin. So all we got to do is remember, we on the land of pie. We on the Great Maghreb, Alaska, Almoraz, Czechoslovakia. Right? We are the great old mates. You know, listen, y'all, Marvin the Martian on Bugs Bunny, that's us. We blew up our own place with quartz crystal technology, right? And we have to pay for that karma. Well, the debt is over, y'all. These modern humans made a vow to the L's. They must pay A-E-I-O-U. Just accept it, y'all. Hey, I love to build.
Yes. Well, now the other thing is too, the Bergs, the Bergs, which I mean, we were just talking about what the Bergs were, or the Burgess, which is a place, and they call it the Bergs. And now as far as us getting paid, You don't mean we're getting paid with finances, because that's not what's going to happen.
Not at all.
Okay. We're getting back. Right. We're claiming back our estate and everything we need.
It's a spiritual, it's a healing advancement. We're getting a healing advancement. And then with the healing advancement of your brain, you can manifest anything that you need.
There you go.
Oh, I love so much. I love the bill. Thank you for allowing me to be on. I love this land, the Maghreb, Alaska. Thank you.
All righty. Peace and love. Thank you so much for that. All right. Caller 706-424. You're live on the air. Please state your appellation and Northwest Maxim. Please be conscious that we have 10 more minutes and one more caller. Islam, caller 706-424. All righty. Caller 972-839. You are live on the air. Please state your appellation at Northwest Maxim.
Yes, this is Abdul Malik Sabir Shakur Bey. I'm calling from Northwest Maxim, Texas territory. Once again, family Islam, been listening. Y'all are always on study, and you all are showing yourselves and to us, our listeners and the world, and especially the judicial system, that you are approved and qualified, you all, to stand and bring the message and the lessons of our illustrious prophet, Noble Jew Ali, to wake up humanity, to help raise them up, get them out that dead Negro, black, and colored state, and plant their seed, more seed in this God-given earth, which the mobile parted oath that life can come for. Hello, family. Once again, how are y'all doing? Y'all keep on doing what you're doing. You keep teaching. Miz, what's going on, my brother?
Islam, Noble. Peace. All is well.
Yo, you in the house, too. I know you are. Islam. And Annie, my queen sister, Miss is the miseducation of Negro. I sure love where you talk to him, sister. And I tell you what, y'all keep doing what you're doing, and always have an ear for where there's an ear. And the more bodies is singing her song, the more is listening. And he's protecting with the scimitar, and he will come and the words of truth and wisdom, that those who are ignorant may raise themselves up and come into the knowledge of the great, marvelous Moor sound, the kingdom, empire of our foremothers and forefathers. Islam, family.
Islam.
No, Islam.
All right.
Islam.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Islam. And thanks to all our callers. Thank you so much for sharing, building, dropping the knowledge on us. And that concludes this broadcast. We shall see you tomorrow at 7:30. Class begins at 7:30 for Moors Heritage and History School. And don't forget,
we'll be there.
Thursday.
We will be at New York tomorrow.
Yes.
It's flash.
And then Thursday we have Sons of Allah. Sunday we have Sisters Standing on Law. So make sure tomorrow, 7:30, Moors Heritage and History School. Thursday, 9 p.m., Sons of Allah. Sunday, Sisters Standing on Law, 1 o'clock. We got some information and some learning and some building and some catching up this week. It's exciting. We got a power-packed week once again. So we shall see you. Peace and love. Islam to everyone.
Islam.
Peace and love. Well.
Right.
Our problem problem is lack of knowledge and the intended deceit and trickery done, because even those who read the bibliothealer text that you call the Bible says he shall fool even the most elite. So even those who think they're highly educated and this and that, they've been fooled. That's it. It's not really complicated.
It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows it to those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh. It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows except those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh.
The gods are back. The Moors are strapped. We waking up. And we want our land back, running off, that's a trap. You know them guys don't like that. Waking up from a nap, like where the hell my crown at? Take a step back, like I know this bitch ain't bite back. It's kinda crazy how this karma it strikes back. We enslaved the Slavs, so they slaved us right back. We called them niggas, then they niggered us right back. We brought them to light, but they ain't bring that right back. If I was lazy, dirty dancing with the baby, then just maybe won't revolt like Haiti. I too strong, love a tour, Marcus Garvey, your ass. No, but you are leading, God body the man. Now I ain't gotta be bad, and you ain't gotta be mad, but the planet is heating up, so the first I'll be last. I got that melanin that's better than anything you ever medicine. We at your front door, wonder why you never let us in. Oh, I get it, you never wanted to put some credits in. Well, just forget it, cause I don't know if you can edit sin. We've been enlightened long before Thomas Edison. Skeletons to prove that you wasn't even relevant. In the Caucasus Mountains, cause the sun was your deficit. Captain Caveman with the plan of the Jesuits. Check my bloodline, but in time I bring the evidence. Self-governing body, so I don't need no president. Democrat, Republican, donkey versus elephant. I studied in law, so I ain't down with none of that. I self-law and master, so I'm running that. This Molotov cocktail burns faster, so I like the match. Despite the fact that ain't even what I'm mad at. I spit the truth, so here's the roof, so you can that. My skin is brown and here's the proof, but you ain't hearing that. Dead in the eyes of the law, that's why they call you black. Naming all caps when you fall, that's why I strike back. And strike that from the record ab initio. You gon' need more than some pressure, I got a vicious flow. I can take the road to the high, or I can hit them low. Try to calcify my third eye, oh you gon' have to go. Chemtrails all over the sky, and you don't wanna know. Don't go inside of my tribe, they coming no more.
If you believe that your history started on a slave boat, I can guarantee you that's where it ended too. That's what I'm saying. Then, after saying that, and so don't believe me, go back and do some studies past the 1700s, and I'll guarantee you, sure as you're sitting there listening, or wherever you are, watching, listening, you will find nothing but the word Moor. And that's another thing. Because we weren't called black. That the description, maybe, black or more or whatever, but that's it. Know the difference between a description and an actual, person, place, or thing, noun. I mean, really.
It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows it to those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh. It's the miseducation of the Negro. Everybody knows except those who need to know. It's the miseducation of the Negro. When we rise from the dead, they call us Pharaoh.
From the pyramids to the project, the beginning is the part they want you to forget. Implant your memory with that noose around your neck. It's the king out for planning and set in full effect. The butler, the help, and 12 years a slave. Django and Selma, they get them accolades. They made a